Hey, what up, what up, what up, what up? It's your girl Killer KKK Love in the building. Tell me how you feeling. You guys, this is not a tarot reading. This is an actual story time. It's very interesting. It's a very interesting story time if you guys are interested. I am going to use different names in order to, have some anonymity. I think that's how you say that. Anyway, so also, if you're interested in a private reading, do check the description box below. You can hit me up on email. You can hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Come on, okay? So yeah, but anyways, this story time, I want to say this was in 2017? Yeah, it was 2017. This was in 2017. Ooh, it was an interesting year. 2017 was very... Wait, no, was it? Yeah, it was. 2017 literally felt like 3 years in one. Like a bitch went through all type of life situations at once. Okay, so 2017 was intense. But basically, to be very transparent, I was dealing with a situation where I was living in my car and I was homeless. And so I want to provide some context around that. Why it was just kind of like everything was happening. I don't know. It starts with this. This is a very interesting story. So I get a new job and I get a new place, but I have roommates, obviously. So I just start working at, I'm going to just come up with a fake name. I don't know what I could call it. The name I want to think of is hella irritating. But anyways, I was working at a new job. I'm not going to say the name. And I had just started working there. I had just, went on Craigslist. This was in Chico, California, by the way. And everybody, who is of color knows that Chico's kind of like just one of those places where it's a lot of, I guess now it's more diverse, but before it wasn't. When I was there, it was just interesting. So I moved into this house. And I'm obviously a melanated being. I'm of melanated descent. So I wasn't living with people who were of melanated descent in that way. So I kind of didn't know that, though. I just kind of searched on Craigslist, found a place, hit up the fucking landlord, and was like, hey, and it was really, really cheap, too. It was like dirt cheap for a room. So I was like, yep, I'm up in there like swimwear. Just got a new job. So, I moved in there. I noticed right away, I don't even need to say everybody's name because everybody's not super relevant to the story, but there were like 4 other girls living there. And was there 4? Yeah, there were 4 other girls living there. One of them was living there on and off. It's interesting because I felt like once I moved in, one of them kind of moved out for a second during the story. But anyway, so it was 4 girls living there. Not everybody's relevant to the story. I'm going to name one of them Karen. Was definitely a Karen. One of them was an Annie. So we have Annie, we have Karen, and then we have 2 others. Oh, the other one we have is Susan. Susan is really like, yeah, she's just a Susan. Like just kind of like ditzy and just not really... kind of like one of those people that goes along with whatever's going on, basically. Just a Susan. But we have a Karen, and then we also have an Annie, and then we have a Debbie. So anyways, there's 4 girls living there. I moved in. I noticed that Debbie, like right away, did not really take to me when we first met. The landlord didn't like have it to where basically she just told me to fill out the paperwork, and all I had to do was prove that I could afford to live there, and then she just wanted to fill the room. So she hadn't officially met me. She actually met me when she showed me the place, but it was pretty much like that was it. Just fill out the rest of the paperwork and you're in. So then I met the roommates after, and because I think I met when I went to go see the place. They weren't there. It was like the middle of the daytime. They weren't there. So I think I met them afterwards, and they kind of like immediately it felt like a sorority kind of, or just like, bitch, it's too many bitches in here, period. And all of them were not melanated descent. So I'm the only one. So I could tell immediately that Debbie was kind of just like, she wasn't really vibing with me. Like, she kind of withdrew. I could literally see her withdrawing from getting to know me because of my appearance. And the other ones were kind of just like somewhat skeptical. I kind of feel like they were just like, oh, well, we didn't get to see who was going to live here first. But it's kind of like, well, what you have done about it anyway, sis? If the room needs to be filled and it's not being filled, you don't got no friends to fill it, then, you know what I mean? It's almost like they didn't get a chance to kind of like find somebody else to fill the room or whatever. So the landlord filled it. I don't know. But yeah, so moving in, it was just like, whatever. I'm starting a new job. I got new situations going on. You know, I'm just trying to get myself together. And a lot of other stuff was going on too at this time. Like I said, I was living in my car. So a lot of other stuff was going on besides just moving in. But everything was chill for the most part. Got my shit situated in there. And then at some point I had a friend living with me in my room, but then that ended. And I think that has something to do with the whole little mystical, magical bullshit that they was trying to pull. But anyway, so, you know, I moved in there. Everything's cool for a minute. You know, I'm pretty respectful as a tenant. Like, you know, the one girl told me, Annie told me that I could smoke weed. She's like, yeah, you can smoke weed. Like, if you smoke, you can smoke it. Nobody cares. You know, like, they broke little rules, you know, as far as like the tenancy. So it was kind of just like, all right, cool. Like, you know, they were smoking weed, I was smoking weed, whatever. So as time goes along, it just, oh yeah, and I helped my friend Abby move into the place too. So Abby was there too after a while because they needed another roommate to fill in the room. Because the one girl, yeah, that's what it was. It was like the one girl, they needed somebody to fill the room downstairs. Because I don't know if like the one girl, and that room was really small. It was like an oversized closet, not gonna lie. But the other girl, I don't know if she moved upstairs. I think somebody left and they all just kind of rearranged rooms, but there was 2 rooms downstairs. Actually, I think the girl, Karen, was supposed to stay downstairs and she ended up moving after I got in. I don't remember how it went. Either she changed rooms or she ended up moving. It was kind of like that. But I remember I saw there was hella rooms. There was like a room in the back, 2 rooms in the front. There was 3 rooms upstairs and there was a basement. So, yeah. It was an interesting place to dwell. Anyway, so after a while, my room was cute. It was like lavender. It was really light purple, like lavender. That was the color of the room. And there was a bathroom in my room. So the rule of the room was like, okay, since there's one bathroom upstairs and then there's a bathroom downstairs, my bathroom in my room is technically everybody's bathroom. So that was kind of awkward because, I don't know, I think maybe that's why the other girl moved out of the room. I'm not sure. But anyways, moved in, everything was pretty chill for the most part. It kind of felt like over time, just like I wasn't really concerned about, I just went to work and did what I had to do, come home. And it feels like over time, I don't know, just me existing and being who I am and just being creative, being out there, like doing my thing. Over time, like they just wasn't vibing with it. I don't know, like I was just doing my thing. I was literally working. My friend was living in my room, but we were working together. And then my other friend moved in, Abby, and you know what I mean? We worked together too. So it was just kind of like chill. And then it just started to I guess it was too much. I don't know. But I feel like there was a level of some of these girls were, 1, into some dark shit, and 2, very like trying to be in control of something as if it's like a sorority. Like trying to like, and they were like 25, 20, anywhere from like 25 to 27. And I was like, what, 2017? I'm 24 right now. So I was like, what, 21? Was I 21? Yeah, I was 21 when this happened. Yeah, so you feel me? I'm 21. They're all like a little older than me. So I feel like they thought they could kind of like be on some weird shit with me, but I held my own in the situation. I came with my own pots and pans when I moved in. I used some of theirs, but I kind of came with my own shit. Like, you know, I was just like, I'm not really fucking with it type energy. But I did use some of theirs. But it was just kind of like at first they were like, oh yeah, everything's cool. But then they just started being weird. I feel like it was racially motivated. Now I'm gonna be completely honest in this story. Like there was times when I didn't clean up after myself, as far as like I'll cook some brownies or I'll cook something and then I'll leave it out. But it really wasn't a situation where, you know what I'm saying? Like I was more so conscious of the fact that, okay, if I use something, I'm going to, it just felt uncomfortable. Like I didn't feel comfortable cooking in the kitchen, whether it was with my pans or not. It just felt like me being there was a problem. Like if I was seen or heard, it was an issue, almost like waiting for something to happen. So it was really weird. And then I started like hanging out with some other friends next door, and that's who I would chill with. So I really wasn't too involved in the house situations. Like I was with my other friends next door, hanging out with them. Like I would pretty much just be at home for sleeping and, you know, doing little things, like nothing to the point where I'm making a ruckus or anything wrong is happening. But so yeah, and then it just felt like I was being super valent. And I ain't gonna lie, some shit did occur in that house, but I felt like the way it was handled was really like kind of immature. But anyway, so I was hanging out with some other friends, and me and the girl that I was living in my room with, we were kind of falling out. So I kind of was just like, you know, maybe we should figure something else out. And so then me and my other friend that lived there, our friendship was kind of falling out a little bit. So I felt like something was going on in that way, because these are people I feel like I wouldn't have just fell out with. Like we had a history of having each other's back, like in different situations. So it's kind of like for us to fall out then and there was kind of weird. But I don't know. I just kind of got some new friends, start hanging out and just enjoying my summer, like, you know, chilling. I ended up quitting my job, but I was cool financially. Like I didn't really like, I was able to manifest my money and get what I need to get. And so I don't know, it was weird. Like after around me quitting, it was really weird. Like it started to become really weird where like we were having this group text and people were coming at me aggressively or just saying things. I paid my bills, I paid my rent, like, you know what I mean? And I admit that there's times where I would be kind of like, oh, I made a big something and I kind of left it, but it wasn't like I just left it for hella long. You know what I'm trying to say? So it just felt like this energy of like ready to jump on me at anything, like ready to just jump on the situation. And like I said, I'm being honest. Ain't no shame in my game. I'm being honest about it because honesty is the best policy. And now there would be also sometimes where I would leave to go away to like the Bay from Chico. So I'm not necessarily trying to have my door all open. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm gone, my stuff's all accessible to others. You know what I'm saying? So when I would leave, I would lock the door because I just didn't want people. I understood it was the bathroom for downstairs, but I just didn't think it was okay for people to be in my shit when I'm not there or have access to my shit when I'm not there. You know what I'm saying? Like, because these was the type of girls that would be easy to do shit, or they pop off when you're not there, but when you're there, they ain't saying shit. Like that type of energy. So yeah, we had group chats, and it kind of felt like, and some of the group chats they were trying to, I don't even know how it started, but it just felt like antagonized. Like, of course, they probably had a different group chat where they were talking about me in it, about how they really felt about me being there or whatever. And then they would act different in the main group chat. So I really wasn't tripping. I'm like, whatever. And then it came to a point where me and my friends were hella cool. We were going to hella like raves and shit. Like we were having fun during the summer. We were genuinely enjoying our time. And I kind of felt like even that maybe could have made a difference because I didn't really see like them doing much during the summer. I didn't really see them doing anything super exciting or whatever the case may be, but I don't know. And so anyways, basically I had some friends that they would come down from trimming and I would like let them stay in my room, you know, to wash up after themselves and kind of, you know, when you come off the hill, if you've been there for a month or whatever, you know, you're just trying to crash somewhere so you can get rebalanced so that you can figure out what you're doing. It's not that you're homeless or that, you know what I'm saying? Like, because if you fucking with me and I'm your friend, you ain't never going to be homeless, period. So it wasn't even like that. It was just like, they weren't like living there, but it was just like, okay, you just came off the hill. You can shower, you can stay for a couple of days. And then, you know, they was off doing whatever they was doing to get their money or whatever else they needed. Like, that's how trimmers kind of go. Like, if you have friends who do that, they usually have things that are lined up afterwards. And not to mention, like I said, we were going to different little events. We did reggae on the river together. Like, we all chilled and had like a good time pretty much. So, you know, it was kind of like that. Others were working on the hill. Like, it was just like that type of energy. Like, either you was having fun doing the festival or you was working, trimming, you know what I'm saying? So it was pretty chill. So I don't know, but I would let my one friend stay over, and he was a guy, but I think he identified as they. So yeah, they would come over and wash up. I think, yeah, they would come over and wash up. Or no, his twin brother might have identified as they. I think they both identified as they, but so yeah, they were cool, and I would have them come over. For the purpose of this story, I have to name one of the twins. I'm going to name one of the twins Ricky because he actually witnessed some of the stuff that happened, like when it was happening. But anyway, so he would come over sometimes. You know, I would just have my friends come over because it's like I should be able to do that too. And basically what ended up happening, this story time is going to be really fucking long because it gets more interesting after. Like, this is just the beginning. So I would have people come over too. And, you know, it would just be different. Oh, you need to let us know. But they didn't need to let me know when they had people come over. So it's like, no, you're not finna, like, domesticate me or try to make me report back to you. And it ain't an equal receiving and giving situation. So I don't have to tell you anything. If you're not telling me, I'm not going to tell you. Like, if you having shit going on and you're not telling me, then cool. Like, I'm not going to let you know. I don't need to let you know if that's how you want to do it. If that's how you see the situation, then that's how I see it. So basically, they would try to get upset that my friend would come over. They tried to say that was my boyfriend, but it totally wasn't. That was really my good friend. And it was just weird. Like, they were making up situations and lying. And I feel like they were definitely in a group assuming shit together and then trying to make it fit the reality, and it was not fitting. So after that, I remember what happened. It was just a series of different things. Like, I guess that they felt uncomfortable about me being there. There was a situation where I let my friend come over and wash clothes, but there was a situation too where my friend came over and washed clothes and I did not tell them that they could come over and wash clothes. So that kind of, like, you know, was different. But I think there was a situation where I washed my friend's clothes, or I did something like that, because our laundry machine was outside. And, like, I get it, but at the end of the day, it's just kind of like, if your friend, I don't understand why it's bad that somebody's washing clothes. Like, if somebody needs to wash clothes, that's just the type of person I am. Like, oh, you need to wash clothes, you can wash them at my house. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like a routine thing. It was literally happened one time. And so it was just kind of like, I don't know, that's just how I was. Like, the washing machine dryer was outside. I said it was cool for them to go over there and do that. I don't know if I told them that was happening, but it's just kind of like, this motherfucker just coming over to wash clothes. Like, washing one load is not going to do anything to our bill, period. But they had a problem with it. They act like it happened like multiple times. I don't feel like that was a problem. If your friend had to come over and wash clothes after they spent the night at your house, whatever the case may be, I'm not finna be sitting up here like, oh, is your friend washing clothes? Like, no, let them wash their fucking clothes. Period. Like, I don't understand why that was a problem. But anyways, so yeah, that happened. And then I feel like they got upset about that. So then after that, pretty much I felt like there was definitely some tension in the house and definitely some shit talking. Now, getting to the part where it starts getting like crazy. So basically, I remember when I was chilling with my friend in my room, because I have the right to fucking do that. Like, if I pay to be here, I have the right to have company. And if y'all motherfuckers not telling me who y'all got coming over, I don't need to tell you who I have coming over. That should not matter if you're not going to reciprocate that. So anyways, we was just kind of like at odds, and I had a friend come over, and I remember it was Annie who came downstairs, and she knocked on my door, and her guy friend was there, and I was just like, and they were all in the front, like the doorway, the threshold of my room and shit. And I don't know if she was drunk or what, but she was like telling me like, oh yeah, because that's why you're gonna get evicted, like you have a 30-day notice coming towards you, or whatever the case may be. So clearly they had planned something against me. And so I was just like, what? And my friend was just like, that's hella whack. Like, y'all need to get the fuck from out her face in her room. Like, y'all hella whack. Mind you, we had many house meetings that I tried to put together that they never came to, but they wanted me to come to their house meetings, like all type of bullshit. So anyways, I'm just doing my thing, and like they getting ignorant, and like she low key was like trying to antagonize me to fight. Like she was getting really rowdy, and then I started tying up my hair, and she backed all the way up to the living room from my door. And she was like, oh, you're trying to be aggressive. I'm like, no, the fuck I'm not. But y'all literally came down here starting shit out of the blue, out of no reason. And that's not how adults handle situations. If you need to talk to me about something, you take me aside. You shouldn't have to be around hella different people. Because I felt like they had put that together. Because all of a sudden the bitch that live in the basement want to come up in the living room. Like, and people want to come up and be involved in the situation. So I'm just like, okay, y'all hella whack for trying to do something, having to do it in a group. You can't even come with me one-on-one. So yeah, then she moved the fuck from out of my room and went directly across the living room. Like, she was so far away from me trying to talk to me, I could barely hear her. Like, as soon as I started tying up my hair, and the other girl, Debbie, was like, oh, you're trying to fight, you're being aggressive, and I wasn't. My thing is, if you coming around me being rowdy and shit and acting like that and doing stupid shit, then yes, I have a right to feel mad, because I was upset about what they were even trying to do. So then I think after that day, I got a text message, either, I don't know if it was later on that night or the next couple of days, I got a text message from the landlord talking about she want to come over, or she's doing an inspection, but she made it seem like it was for everybody, but she said she was doing an inspection. So she comes over. She came over 10 minutes early. My friend was still there, but mind you, if I'm getting, because you have to have a 24-hour notice, if I'm getting a notice that somebody's coming over, I'm on my points. Like, I'm not doing nothing. So I lit some sage up in the room before she came in, honey. Lit that sage, had that thing lit, had the windows open, everything. And literally, like, she came in like earlier than the time that she said she was going to be there. And she opened my door, did not knock. Like, she knocked maybe once and then opened my door. And so my friend was there, but I don't have nothing to hide. I can have people over. You get what I'm trying to say? And he was going to leave anyways, but he was there for a reason. So she came in, she was like, it smells like weed in here. I'm like, I'm lighting sage. Like, I have an incense going. And so she was like, no, it smells like weed. You're smoking weed in here. Like, immediately trying to accuse me. She also was not of melanated descent. My friend was of POC melanated descent. Okay. So it was just kind of interesting. Like, what the fuck? Oh, it's hella like little, hold up, y'all. Yeah. It was really irritating. Yeah, they was doing some other bullshit. So basically, I was in the story, so I wasn't even looking at the comments. But anyway, so she came in here trying to accuse me of shit and just already started an argument, trying to get me to be aggressive right away. And so it ended up where she came in my room, and then all of a sudden, how does it go from being, how is this an inspection? If you're just walking in my room, but you're not even supposed to be in my room like that. What are you in my room for? What are you inspecting? None of this was clear about what you were inspecting before you came over. So it was just like, you said you're doing an inspection, but you come over to be basically messy and see what's going on when there was nothing going on. Everything was fine. Then you try to accuse me of smoking weed. Then we go out to the living room and all these bitches is like around. And so basically, Debbie was there. Annie was there. Susan was there. Karen, she really wasn't there that much, but there was one point where she was there and she brought her mom there because she was moving out, and they both looked extremely racist. Like, they looked at me like I could feel the hate coming from them and the bad thoughts. And so, you feel me? And my family came up there too and like let all them hoes know what's up too. But it was just like their energy was all fucked up. So, but my room always felt really good. The rest of the house felt weird. My room felt really good. It had good vibes in it. Like, literally the rest of the house felt creepy. So, and I remember when I first moved in, I asked, because I'm very open spiritually. I asked the girl, I said, do you ever feel like there's spirits in the house or in the basement or anywhere? She said no, but I felt like there were spirits in that house, and specifically in the basement. And the next part of the story ties into it. So everybody was there. Abby wasn't there. The girl that lived with me in my room, she didn't live there anymore. So it was kind of just like they were all trying to team up on me. And my friend saw exactly what I saw and was like, y'all are dead ass wrong for trying to do this shit. Because he saw exactly what they were trying to do. But he was getting hyphy. He was getting hyphy with the landlord a little bit. because I'm just like, okay, you can't go off too much because that's what they want. So I was trying to figure out like where this was leading, because there was no need for this to escalate this much when there hadn't even been like anything like this before happening. So basically the landlord was just like, yeah, so I heard that you have your boyfriend lives here, and you know, that this and this and that is happening, and this and this and that is going on. And I was just like, I don't even have a boyfriend. This is my friend. He's hanging out with me. I have the right to have that happen as I pay rent here. And she was like, yeah, if there's somebody staying here for more than 7 days, they have to be on the lease. And I'm like, ain't nobody staying here for more than 7 days. This dude, my friend, stays here for literally like 1 or 2 nights. That's it. Like, you know what I'm saying? And she was trying to say I was smoking weed, and all of them were coming out and like agreeing. And like, so clearly this was planned out, and they took it to the landlord. So she was just like, you're going to get a 2-week notice. I've never heard of a fucking 2-week notice. I've heard of a 3-day quit notice, pay or quit, when there was nothing for me to pay because I didn't owe anything. I had just paid my rent and the bills. She said a 2-week notice. And so after that, like, I was just like, really, y'all? Like, I was just kind of hurt, because I was just like, this is the type of racism that back in the day, if this happened, you feel me? It wasn't like a situation where we're talking this out, or, you know what I'm saying, we're coming to certain agreements about anything. It's just the energy of like, they trying to do too much, or they're trying to gang up. And so basically that's what the landlord told me. There was no such thing as a 2-day or quit. My mom used to work. She knows attorneys. My mom has a whole team of attorneys that she can call right fucking now. So it was just like, I understood the California tenancy law. She was totally out of place for doing that. But for me personally, it wasn't me like, it was kind of more so me deciding to leave too, because it was just like, I don't want to live with this type of energy. Like, whatever these girls are trying to do, if they're trying to do magic, whatever, I don't want to live with that shit. Like, people trying me or doing stupid shit. And it's just kind of like, I'm ready to move on to whatever I'm supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to be staying up in this stupid ass energy. So I kind of decided, like, and the landlord texted me, and she was like, if you can try to make them like you, then you can stay. But other than that, you have to leave in 2 weeks. So I'm just like, bitch, I'm not finna kiss nobody's fucking ass. Hell motherfucking no, period. I ain't never been a bitch to kiss nobody's ass. I will gladly leave. Y'all can figure out what the fuck y'all doing. This house ain't even that nice. Anyways, the rent's cheap, but like, bitch, I'll figure it out. And I had already quit my job. So it's kind of like, I really didn't have a reason to be there. So I was just like, yeah, I'm good. I'll be out that motherfucker, period. Like, I'm good off that shit. So literally I left. And I went to go trimming, basically. I went with my friend. We went up to Humboldt to go trimming. And I did some trimming up there. It was some other situations, just life in general. It was way more than this situation. But there was hella other shit going on in my personal life. And so, but I did get to reunite with some friends, you know what I'm saying, and had a lot of support from people. But, you know, we was trimming. We was camping out, trimming, like trying to make our money. So after that, after trimming, I went back to my mom's house. And my friend Abby still lived there. And me and her, again, weren't talking. We weren't, like, able to communicate the way we were supposed to or the way we had before. Like, I don't know. There was just an energy between us. Like, we were falling out, too. So I definitely feel like it was some witchcraft shit. So this is where it gets more interesting. This is where the story, like, takes a complete 160, 180, whatever. It takes a complete turn. So basically, Abby reaches out to me. We've been, like, communicating. And it was like, once I left, once I went, because I went to go trim, then I went to live with my mom for a little bit. And it was like, once I went to live with my mom, it was different. Like, we were communicating. It was a little clearer, you know. She was like telling me stuff that happened in the house, like all type of shit. And she actually told me how things actually dramatically changed. The landlord that was actually, you know, working there, she ended up like losing her job. Because she wasn't doing something correctly. So she ended up losing her job a little bit after I left. And then my friend became like, a little while later, my friend became like the manager of the of the house pretty much, because the landlord like wasn't doing shit. So eventually my friends somehow ended up becoming like the landlord basically while she was living there. But basically, and this could have been after I left the situation. Oh, trimming is where you like cut weed, you know, where weed be looking like all nice and pretty and manicured. It has to be cut that way, because if you were to get weed the way it naturally looks, it looks all kind of crazy. It'd be leaves and shit come, you know, all that. So basically, yeah. basically after that, my friend like hits me up and she's like, oh, you should come out here. Because at that time I was working from home. I got a job working from home, making good ass money in the cannabis industry. And so I was able to work wherever I wanted, you know, as long as there's Wi-Fi and I'm in for my shifts. So she was like, you should come up here. Like, the other girl, like most of the girls have moved out, but the girl, Debbie, that was the one that I kind of underestimated. That was the one that never liked me from the start, but always would somehow be involved in shit, but never really saying much, but she would be involved in bullshit. So I felt like she stirred up a lot of shit, or she had a lot to do with some of this energy because she really didn't like me. And I think the other girls were definitely in on it, but they were followers. So anyways, Abby invited me up there, and so she's like, yeah, we can go to the what's it called? The hot springs, you know what I'm saying? Like there's natural hot springs in Quincy, which is not too far from Chico, back in California. So I was like, all right, cool, like we'll go out there. So I went out there, and actually what was interesting before, like she even invited me to come out there, what had ended up happening was she ended up having a dream, and her dream was like very, like, she's not a melanated being like that. So it's like for her to dream this is actually very interesting. Yeah. So basically she had a dream where she saw this man. She said she saw this man walking, and he had a half skull face. Like his face was a skull, half of it, but the bottom half, I guess, was a human face, or he had a skull painted on his face, and he had a top hat, and he had dreads, and he had a cane that he walked with. And she said in this dream he was walking towards this house. I think it was the house that she was living in, the house that I used to live in. And so he walked in this house, but the house had a coffin in it. And she said she saw people like in a circle. Their bodies were in a circle, like just levitating by trees or some shit. And so I immediately knew who that was. And because I had done some research on it, but not enough to like, it wasn't like I was ever trying to be on getting a revenge back shit. That was not the reason why I did research. It was just naturally me feeling, called to do research. So I did that. I was doing research. So I knew she was talking about Papa Legba. Like I felt like she was talking about Papa Legba. And I showed her pictures. I sent like some Google pictures that they got, some depictions, and she said that's exactly what she's seen. It also felt like there was barren energy, like the barren. And so I was just kind of like feeling all these different energies. So I just sent her information to see if it checked out, and it did. She's like, that's what I seen in my dreams, yada, yada, yada. And so I felt intuitively, because like I said, I'm a reader. So I felt like the one that has stayed in the house all along, who never left, was Debbie. That was the one who never left. So it was just very interesting. And I think she said something like she was going to be the last one in the house, or whatever the case may be. Like she was really trying to fight for her position in the house for some reason. Also, during the time where the landlord came and did all that bullshit, the landlord actually found out and actually knew. The landlord said this out loud. She said to Debbie, like, I know that your boyfriend lives with you in the basement, but like didn't do anything about that. Like literally was like, I know he lives here, because like she's seen him, like that she has a person that lives with her in the basement. So, and she wasn't supposed to do that. Just like how they were trying to say, like the landlord literally told me I couldn't have no company over. And I'm like, bitch, I pay rent. I got to go. I cannot be paying no rent here. For this ain't no fucking daycare. You cannot tell me who I'm gonna have in my shit or not, period. So, and then Debbie had her whole nigga living with her in the basement, and the landlord knew and did not address it then at all, but admitted that she knew and that he was not on the lease still. So while they're trying to come at me for something, she's literally doing something she's not supposed to be fucking doing. And the landlord admitted that in front of us all. But I was the one that got punished. Okay. So anyways, after that, you know, like I'm saying, my friend's having these dreams. And I'm like, something's linking back to Deborah. She's the only one still there. She's doing something, or she's been doing something all along. And it's crazy because when I first came into the house, I asked one of the girls, is there something going on in the basement, or are there spirits here in the basement? Because I felt like some energy, like somebody was trying to conjure some shit, they were doing something in the basement. So anyways, my friend has that situation where she's just like, yeah, I'm having these dreams, and I'm doing research about what it means. And it said that what it means, like, if somebody's having dreams, it's like somebody's trying to do some magic, but the deity that they're going to do the magic refuses to do the magic for them. Or like just in general, they're abusing the magic, or they're trying to do something that they don't have the right to do. So what ended up happening was, now that I realize in retrospect, the deity was reaching out to me because my friend is, like I said, not a melanated being like that, or a person of color. So it's kind of like, you couldn't really have gone to nobody else and them tell you what this is, because you're not necessarily like acquainted with these types of situations and things. So basically what ended up happening was, my friend, we were trying to like do some research about it, get our knowledge up about it. But pretty much me having to acknowledge my ancestors and do research on my lineage in order to kind of connect in. So I tapped in and I found out what was going on. And so I started setting it up so we can reverse the energy. And so the first time we tried to do it, we didn't do it correctly. So nothing happened bad, but nothing really happened at all. But it was kind of just like we understood that there was a real energy. So it was kind of like me having to lead myself through a situation, or being guided by my ancestors on how to do it correctly. And so what ended up happening is, to do it correctly, we finally did it correctly. But it was like after we tried to do it the first time. So she came down to the bay where I was, and we tried to do something, but we realized we had to be in Chico. We had to be at the spot that this all happened at. So basically what happened was, just because of the connection of it, like we were seeing signs that things were working, that the energy was around us, but channeling it correctly was how we needed to do it. And so that ended up happening in Chico for whatever reason. But it was funny because she invited me out, I want to say like maybe 6 or 5 months after the whole situation. She invited me out there. And what ended up happening, when she invited me out there, the girl Debbie, who was still living in the house, and my friend had taken over a room upstairs. So I was chilling upstairs, and Debbie had no idea that I was there. And so, well, I guess maybe, I don't know if my friend told her that I was coming or not, but when I seen her, she looked spooked. Like she walked in the door and was gonna ask for something from my friend, and then she saw me, and she literally looked like spooked. Like she looked like she turned as white as the fucking walls. Like she started turning transparent. I started seeing through her. I was like, damn. Like she was spooked to see me. Her whole energy shifted up, and I was like, yeah, bitch. Yeah, bitch, I'm on to you. We know what's up. We know what's good, right? But it wasn't like I was even exuding that energy. But my energy, my ancestors' energy around me that was protecting me was like, yeah, bitch, you caught, period. She already knew when I was there spiritually that something was going to happen, that she was caught. So, and I feel like she had I feel like she was perpetrating a lot of the hate. Like, I feel like the other girls that were there complained, but I feel like she was doing other things, fucking around with magic shit to do other things. Like she was continuing the hate. I also found out when I was there that her boyfriend put a dead skunk on my car, a dead raccoon on my car, and she ended up taking it off. But it happened all before I even got there. So they was definitely on some bullshit. Because I mean, to be touching a dead skunk or a raccoon, or to be doing any shit like that and putting it on somebody's car, like, you're going out of your way to be evil for no reason. Like, worry about your karma and what you got going on, bitch. Like, period. So anyway, she was spooked when I came there. And I was like, yeah. And I just knew, like, because we had done the research before I even got there. So it was like, I just knew that she felt that we was on some shit. Yes, just out of control shit. So anyways, when we were there, I felt her energy switch up. Like she didn't know what was going on. I think she even thought that I was coming back to live there, because I was there for like a week, and she didn't know how long I was going to be there for or anything. Like she switched it up. So what we ended up doing was, basically, to put it in Flatlands terms, we did a reverse, so a return to energy, because it felt like she was trying to do something on my friend when my friend was there, but she also did something on me, or used magic to kind of get a victory in that way, but it came back. It's kind of like, you won the battle, but you ain't gonna win the war type energy. And so, what's up, Danielle? And so, anyways, I like the last name Constantine. But yeah, that's what ended up happening. So anyways, we ended up reversing it. So we had to do a special ceremony correctly, which I had, we tried and errored it. But then eventually when we got to Chico, we ended up doing it correctly. And it was a matter of listening to my intuition. Like, hey, we need to do it on this day at this time. We need to do this. So we ended up doing it together. And I felt that it was very symbolic in general because like my friend was telling me that when I left, all type of weird spiritual shit would be happening. It's me, Kristen. That's my alias. What's up, Kristen? But yeah, and so I love Kristen. Hey, Kristen. Anyway, so yeah, so basically what ended up happening was basically we reversed it. What she was trying to send currently and what she had already sent, like she got double whammy low key because she had done something incorrectly and I had never like truly spiritually acknowledged it. I just kind of moved on, but I had to spiritually acknowledge like sending that energy back. Like that's not my energy. And that's not my friend's energy. And it's just interesting that my friend through the dreams, it reached out to me to kind of resolve that issue, like send that energy back because she was still abusing it. And doing fucked up shit. And so it was like a reawakening for me. Like, wow, I do have support. I do have people, angels, ancestors who want me to resolve these issues and send this energy back through a ritual or whatever. So I sent it back. I did a petition, whatever. And basically things got really weird after that. Like, and it makes sense like why me and my friend weren't getting along because she was probably doing stuff for me not to get along with the people around me or to try to like isolate me by myself. Like it definitely felt like she was doing some bullshit. But this is where it gets weirder. So we get back from doing it. It was like midnight when we did it. We get back from doing it and then we reversed the energy. We didn't send any extra bad juju. We just reversed the energy that was not ours. And so basically what happened was when we came back, it was very interesting. Like a little while after, like we ended up, like basically after we did it, the girl, Debbie, she went missing. Like it was very weird. Like they didn't know where she was. Her bike wasn't there. She wasn't in the basement. And all type of shit. And there was other spiritual shit going on, mind you, at this time. Like, it wasn't just this. There was other stuff going on in other places, completely separate from this, that were happening. Somebody that was there with me that witnessed all this shit. It was like several different things going on. Like, my crystal came up missing, but then it came back. There were spirits in the house that I was crossing over. I think I told that in my introduction. I told some story times in my introduction. But I'll go back and do individual story times just in case. But hella other shit was happening spiritually while this was going on. It was like a storm of things like happening in the spiritual world. What's up, Dee Dee? Love you too, Kristen. So yeah. So what ended up happening is after me and Abby did what we did, like this whole spiritual situation just started picking up into high gear. Like the girl ended up going missing. Like, I want to say for 3 days, because I was there for like 5 to 7 days. I was there for like a week. So the girl went missing. What's up, girl talk? And so it was just really interesting. They were worried, like the rest of the roommates that were there. Mind you, new people had moved in. Oh, yeah, I was going to say after I left, they were telling me that paranormal things were happening. And it was actually crazy. I want to include this in the story time. But there was one time where I was walking, because like I said, the washer and dryer was outside on the back porch. So I was going to wash my clothes one time and I walked through the kitchen. You have to walk through the kitchen and go to the back door. And so in my mind, just randomly, I thought, like, what if I came back and all the cabinets were open when I came back? And I went to wash my clothes. I came back and that didn't happen, but it was just interesting that I picked up on it. And literally after I left and the other roommates came in, Abby's friend was like, yeah, she went to go to to wash her clothes, so she had to go through the back and through the kitchen, and she walked back and all the cabinets are open. There was just hella shit going on that I knew I had been protected from while I was there. Like, I really felt like I was protected. Even me leaving, it just felt like I'm not supposed to be here. This is not the right energy for me. I'm going to move on to something that I need to go towards. But it was this energy of like difficult, things were being difficult. Money was difficult. Like, I was in a bad spot, but it just kind of felt like, you know what I'm saying? It happened for a reason. Like, nobody was able to keep me in a bad spot. And me moving on was what I was supposed to do anyways. You know what I'm trying to say? So, I wasn't working at that job anymore. And I just really need to move on with what I need to do. And that's how I was able to get, from moving out, I was able to get the work from home job. So that was way better. Thank you. And so anyways, we did what we had to do. If you guys want to start from the beginning, you can start from the beginning. Sonya's hella funny. I literally just said that. If y'all want to start from the beginning, y'all can start from the beginning. And Sonya said, I just start watching. Look, me and Sonya over here linked up, synced up. But anyways, so what ended up happening was she went missing. And then eventually the roommates were just like, okay, we don't know what's going on with her. Like, this is interesting. And I think one of the other girls had moved her friend into the house, and then she ended up moving or something like that. There was just all this other bullshit. So they were just like, we don't know what's going on with her. We need to figure out what's going on and check it out. So they went downstairs to check out what was going on with her. And literally, she wasn't there. She was missing. And literally they went downstairs. But mind you, me and Abby, I was going to say her name, me and Abby had already did what we did. And so another thing that was interesting is that she lived in the basement, and she never left her door unlocked or left her shit where you can get in it open or cracked or anything. So it was just interesting that some other spiritual shit had gone on and her door ended up opening. I kid you not, I feel like there was a lot of spiritual battles going on. There was a whole nother spirit in the house that I was working on getting the fuck. Hella shit was going on. My friend who I had taken up to Chico with me felt like something had touched him. It was just you know what I'm saying? That type of situation. It was a lot that I was dealing with. But anyways, they went down in the basement, and what ended up happening is that Debbie, of course, was not there. But they ended up finding things in the basement. So literally they found piss in bottles. They found heroin needles, and they ended up finding a Ouija board. And they also found, I think they opened a portal in the house after I left too, because I think the girl in the basement opened a portal. There was something open in that basement. That's why I never did like that basement, even though I hadn't gone in there. And also, they said that they found a trap door or something in the basement. So it was very interesting. And I felt like there was a lot of spirits residing in that lower vibrational basement level. So I was just like, oof. So anyways, despite all the other spooky shit that was going on, me fighting ghosts and removing an energy out of the house and all this shit that was going on. And they also ended up finding a Ouija board, and they found a black skull with the red bandana tied around it. And I was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. This bitch is doing magic. Yeah, she literally had a Ouija board. I don't know what the fuck she thought she was doing or what she was doing, but it was off. It was very, very off. Yes. I'm just saying. And so what ended up happening was they also found that she wrote on her mirror, going fishing. Literally she wrote in lipstick or something, going fishing. She said when the bitch slapped them back to their maker, period. But it was just interesting. A lot got revealed. This was happening all along. Nobody knew that Debbie was doing drugs down there. I'm sure Debbie and her partner, the dude that the landlord had acknowledged that she knew living there as she's trying to kick me out for some shit. She acknowledged that she knew that there was a dude living there. He put a fucking dead raccoon on my car. All this shit. She acknowledged that she knew that he was living there and he wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't on the lease. And then they kicked me out for it. And then literally they're doing heroin in the fucking basement. You kicking out the wrong folks. I'm just saying. But she was using that magical bullshit, her shit. She was really trying to do it. But I kind of came back as the justice scales to make that shit right again. Like, hold on, bitch. We finna reverse this energy. So anyways, after that, she was gone for like 3 days. And then I think it took about 2 or 3 days for them to start questioning where she was because she wasn't texting back. And then after that, like, I think it was another couple days, and she came back right before I left. So, yeah, it was just, I had to be in a roommate situation because I was looking for a place to live. I just got done being homeless. So it really wasn't like I knew this person, trusting them. It was just like, I'm going to find a room on Craigslist. I didn't really get to meet them like that. They didn't really get to meet me, but it was cheap and it was a nice room. And I just need to be somewhere to get stable. So it was just kind of like I got what I needed from it. And I was able to move on and get more stable from the situation. But yeah, she was out here doing some crazy shit, needles and all type of shit. Yeah, it was divine intervention. Yeah. I'm just saying, I was literally embodying divine intervention at that time because she was doing all type of shit still that nobody even knew. And they weren't going to figure out because nobody had been in the basement like that. So anyways, after that, she ended up coming back. But then there was some situation where, what's up, D? There was some situation where her partner was saying some racist things to my friend's new roommate. And like, that came out, like all the stuff that I had already known about everything, like came out. Like, I guess they had a Confederate flag or something like that too. Like, they were really racist, like for real. And so everything came out though. Yeah. And then she's doing drugs and doing magic. Like, that shit was toxic, baby. I'm telling you. And so anyways, it all came out. And then literally, like, I left because it's kind of like I knew that something was being undone. And so I kind of knew with all this coming out on her, like something was really being brought up for her because she had been doing a lot of shit and it got exposed. And so I left after that. Like, I wasn't there to see everything. I left. But after that, Abby told me that she just ended up randomly moving. Like, she just packed up all her shit one day and just moved. Like, didn't even say nothing. And they never saw her again. So, yeah, it was just very interesting. I don't know. I never looked back. I don't know what happened to her. I have no idea. I don't know where she went for those 3 days. It literally felt like on a spiritual level, she did get kidnapped by the spirits. I'm not going to lie. That's how it felt. She was gone for like 3 days. Nobody knew where she was. She could have been on a drug binge, but it was like she wasn't going to work. Like, nothing. So it was just very interesting. I never knew, like, things came out for me. I never knew, like, everything came to light, basically. I never knew that she was doing drugs, but that makes sense. I never knew for sure that she was doing magic, especially the time that I lived with her. But I found out after with, like, my friends' dreams and stuff like that. Like, certain things I didn't know, but I could just feel the energy. Like, I didn't know the specifics of the energy, but I could just feel it. It's like it all got revealed to me. It all got revealed, to my friend. And so she got kicked out, and they kind of just continued on. But it was a lot of different shit going on in that house. That house in general was like, that was like the most active place I lived in. But when I lived there, I was protected. So yeah, it's just very interesting. The different scenarios. But that was my story time. I've been good ever since. Nothing has been on me or doing nothing to me. I've never even felt those girls' energy again. I don't know what happened to Debbie. Annie, I don't know what happened to her. Well, she moved out of the house during the retrograde, so she probably got fucked up. I ain't gonna lie, but it just felt like everybody else just kind of did whatever the fuck they were supposed to be doing. I don't know. But that girl, I never know what happened to her. She just moved, she left, she did. They found out everything. And I felt like it was as if she found out that they found out. Like, almost the way that she moved was just like. So that was taken care of as far as it being in my life. It's not in my life, so I'm good. That was my long ass fucking story time, damn near an hour long. But it had, you had to have the details, the context, you know what I'm saying? Like, everything ended up doing whatever the fuck it needed to do. So, but yeah, I've been good ever since. I felt like this happened in 2017. So I felt like me leaving out of the house was 2017. Actually, no, me leaving out of that house was 20, wait a minute. Yeah, it was 2017. And everything got better. That same year I found that online job, was able to, that's when I went back to do all of this in 2018. But everything happened from the start, me moving in, all that shit happening in 2017. Yeah, she definitely got exposed. And I think she might not be messing with it no more. I would suggest for her not to, because it came out. And like, this is where I was getting spiritually strong within myself. So yeah. Yeah, we met in, late 2017, did we? Yeah, I think we did. Wait, did we? Yeah, we must have. Because I met Carmela in 20, oops, I was not supposed to say her name. Shout out to my friend Carmela, but she wasn't a part of this story at all. But I met her in 2017. Yep. Yeah. So I'm sending my condolences, Kristen, again. Yeah, the years have been right. My bad. I was like, Kristen, Constantine. I'm just out here busting out names, but those people are not involved in the story time. But anyways, yeah, so it was just a lot of interesting things that was happening in my life. I was really battling some spiritual shit. I'm so glad and thankful to God that I moved out of Chico, because that just was not the place for me. And I moved on to wonderful, beautiful, abundant energy that I'm just like, yes, thank you, God, for delivering me from that shit, because ain't nobody touching none of this shit. You ain't touching this. This off limits, bitch. No, I'm just playing. But anyways, that was my story time, y'all. I don't mean to talk y'all ear off all day long. But I love y'all. Thanks for coming in and listening, getting the information and messages that you need to get from this. Okay. I'll be here. If you need any more story times, hit me up. Okay. Thank you. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.